Before you take another step today, ask yourself one question. If your legs failed you tomorrow, who would you have to depend on for every little thing? This story may be your wake-up call. Stay with it to the very end, because one choice you make tonight could decide whether you stay independent or not. And before we start, subscribe to Simple Elderly Wisdom, like this video, and comment your age below so you can follow every new chapter of this journey. Martha was 79 when the first crack in her confidence appeared. It was a quiet Tuesday morning, the kind she thought would look exactly the same for the rest of her life. She stood by her bed, slipped on one sock easily, then lifted the other foot. To her surprise, her body wobbled, her hand shot to the dresser, and a sharp fear cut through her chest. It was only 2 seconds, but in those 2 seconds she saw a future she did not want. That afternoon her doctor handed her a simple sheet of paper. On it were 5 short lines, 5 strange little tests with innocent names. Single leg stand, chair rise, backwards walk, timed up and go, eyes closed balance. These, he said quietly, are the 5 abilities only a few older people still keep after 80. Lose them, and you lose more than strength. You lose choices. Martha laughed nervously, but that night she laid awake, replaying his words like a whisper she could not shut off. The next morning she stood beside the kitchen counter and tried the first test. One hand hovered over the surface, one foot slowly lifted, just an inch from the floor. At 3 seconds, her toes dropped, and heat rushed to her face, though no one was watching. She tried again and again, counting softly, willing her body to obey. Each failure felt heavier than the last, not because of the number, but because she suddenly realized how quietly her balance had been slipping away. The chair test seemed easier, almost silly. How hard could it be to stand up and sit down? Martha chose her favorite wooden chair, crossed her arms over her chest, like the paper said, and began. By the 6th rise her legs burned, her breath came faster, and a small tremor shook her thighs. She caught herself thinking, maybe this is just normal for my age. Then she remembered her doctor's face, serious and kind, and a new thought pushed in. What if normal is simply the first step toward needing help? The backwards walk frightened her the most. Her living room suddenly felt like a minefield, every table corner a possible disaster. She pressed her back to the wall, took one careful step behind her, then another. Her brain screamed to turn around, to look, to stop. Each small step felt like walking into the unknown, yet with every movement she discovered something darker than fear of falling. She realized how many years she had spent moving only forward, never challenging her body to respond to anything unfamiliar. When she tried the timed get up and go, the stopwatch on her phone felt like a judge. Sit, stand, walk to the doorway, turn, come back, sit again. Simple, right? Yet halfway across the room, Martha noticed how short her steps were, how cautious her feet sounded on the floor. She turned too slowly, returned breathing harder than she wanted to admit, and dropped into the chair with a soft thud. The number on the screen did not scare her as much as the question that followed. If I keep moving like this, where will I be in 5 years? The last test looked harmless. Stand on one leg, close your eyes. That was all. She steadied herself at the counter, lifted her foot, and gently shut her eyelids. In an instant, the world tilted. Her hands snapped forward to grab the edge, heart pounding as though she had nearly stepped off a cliff. It was only a tiny sway, yet in the darkness she felt utterly unsafe. That moment revealed a truth she had never considered. Without her eyes, she trusted nothing, not even the floor beneath her feet. Most people would have quietly avoided those tests forever after, but something stubborn woke up inside Martha. She drew a simple chart, 5 boxes for 5 abilities, and promised herself 15 minutes a day. 1 week later, she could balance a little longer. A month later, she stood from the chair with less effort. After a year, she could walk backwards across her hallway with calm steps and complete the full sequence with a chi, confidence her younger self would have recognized instantly. Her body had changed, but her future no longer felt closed. Tonight, as you listen, you already know which part of Martha's story feels uncomfortably familiar. Maybe it is the wobble, the burning legs, the tiny panic in the dark. You can ignore it, or you can treat it as the quiet warning that she chose to respect. Test yourself safely, write down what you discover, and start with the smallest, kindest practice you can repeat every day. Then, come back and tell your progress in the comments. Subscribe to Simple Elderly Wisdom, like this video, and share it with someone whose independence you want to protect.